I loved music, all styles of music. I was never attracted to a single style until I got my first 3 records ever, and that was Kiss Alive 2, Queen News for the World, and Saturday Night Fever. Again, all 3 different, musicals, like styles. I mean, they're not the same, but I absolutely, I loved all of it, but I really loved Kiss. And the opening of that double album sleeve with them on stage and on the risers and all the flames, I could not resist. I was like, wow. That was it for me. I was 16 when I started playing guitar. I wanted to start earlier, but it was only an idea of wanting to start. I never actually made any efforts to actually start. When I started, my inspiration was purely for the love of the music that I loved. I was very drawn to all the metal, and that's what was going to get me. My first guitar was a nylon stringed acoustic guitar that my aunt gave me, and I had already borrowed a friend of mine's electric. He had a Hondo, and he loaned it to me for a couple days just so I could have that experience and excitement of playing through a little amp and some distortion. But my first electric guitar was an Ibanez. It was a baby blue Ibanez. I don't know, I want to say it was an RG 450, but I'm guessing at that. It was an RG something, and that was back in the 80s. Ooh, the 80s, man, we're talking about a long time ago. My friends and I were all into the same kind of music. We were all little rockers, little metalheads. We were all there for the coming of the Big Four and everything else along those lines. And although I was a fan of all music, I mean, I've always enjoyed all styles. That, our common style we shared of interest was metal, but that's not the only music we share a common interest in, and it's not the only music that we draw inspiration from. We draw inspiration from all kinds of music, maybe even stuff you wouldn't even expect. At that same time as metal was really erupting, hip-hop was erupting and coming to life. So I was also, totally in love with hip-hop, but metal was my main thing. There's just something about the drums, the guitars, the riffs. That's what I connected to the most. Most all the music I love, regardless of the genre, is gonna be drum heavy. Like, I like drum heavy music, whatever the genre is. Drums are what drive me. We started off in the garage. We practiced at other friends and other facilities, eventually ending up at a place known as Matt Eric's. Well, it was Matt Eric that owned the place. I don't know I don't remember if it had a name to the rehearsal, so I kind of feel like it did. I just don't remember what it was. Ultimately we ended up in a spot downtown, and we rehearsed there for the most part, with the exception of a couple other locations we were at. We were at probably like 3 or 4 different locations throughout our time, but that's where we were when we were way more serious about it. And, getting closer to making a record, our first record. Our first live performance was at a friend's birthday. It was a barbecue, and we were in the backyard, out kind of like a, ranch style home out in the sticks. I don't remember whose place it was or even where it was located, but it was a wild party. We were a party band that day. We played only like 4 or 5 songs though, so I mean, it wasn't like we sat there and tore the party up all day. We just got to play. We have no clue what we were doing. We were having fun. We were enjoying the sounds that we were creating together. That was an awesome experience for us at the time, that drove us all the way to currently now. Like, we still enjoy music as we've always enjoyed it then. It's to some degree obviously become our jobs because we've been doing it for so long, but that love and desire to play and perform it, that's always been the same for everyone. We've just gotten older now, that's all. The most pivotal moment, if I have to define one, was signing our first record deal to do our first record. I mean, obviously at that point in our career, we went from just being a band to what you would consider to be a professional band, where, making a record for the public, there'll actually be a real physical record versus, you know, your demos or whatever you want to call a record. Signing our deal with the major label, with Madonna's label, Maverick / Warner Brothers at the time. I mean, that's about as pivotal as a moment we could have. My entire adult life has been spent in a band. So this whole life of traveling and performing and meeting people all over. I mean, I've gained so much information and perspective from so many people in so many places, talked about so many experiences. It's been incredible. I've learned far too much to ever just be like, well, here's all the things I've learned. Just everything I know, I've learned in this process for the most part. If I could go back to the beginning of the band and what would I change? Not a damn thing, because I'm happy with everything the way it's been, and it's all been part of getting to this point in time. So, not a damn thing. I'll say this, all my expectations and my thoughts of what we would or will not do, we've long since exceeded. I've just simply been enjoying the process, because what I imagined us doing and what I thought we would, do or ever become, we've long since surpassed that. And I'm just enjoying it and very grateful to have this opportunity.